Hello everyone, my name is Diane and thank you for clicking on this video. I think most crocheters at some point or another will want to crochet the tried and true, the classic granny square blanket, and I'm no exception. I wanted to make one with more subtle colouring, a more blended tone. So, by using an ombre colour changing yarn for the middle of each granny square, finished off in a pure white, it turned out exactly as I had in mind. Each granny square has its own unique colour, and yet because it's all from the same ball of yarn, they complement each other perfectly. And also using the ombre yarn for the borders, it really brings out a pop of glorious colour. So I videoed the whole process so I could share it with you. It's a very simple pattern and perfect for beginners. Obviously you can make yours in any ombre colour you like, but I've put the details of the yarn that I used in the description below. If you like my videos, please consider subscribing to my channel where I have lots of crochet projects and crochet stitch tutorials. If you like this video, please like and leave a comment as it helps my channel tremendously, so thank you for that. Anyway, let's get to making this beautiful blanket. For this project, we're using double knit weight yarn, that's a category 3 light worsted weight, and this is 100% acrylic, and I'm using white for the borders and a beautiful ombre colour for the inside of the granny square. You'll need a 5.0mm crochet hook, a darning needle for sewing in your ends, a couple of stitch markers are always helpful, and of course some scissors. So we're starting the granny square with the ombre yarn. So pull some either from the inside or the outside, whichever you prefer. And we're going to start by making a slip knot. Then put in your hook and then chain 4. And then slip stitch into that first chain made, creating a little circle that we're going to work into. You can use a magic ring if you prefer, but I do find this method a little bit easier. So once you've made that slip stitch into that first chain, just chain 1. And you'll see that here you've got a little bit of a circle that we're going to make our double crochets into. Okay, for round 1, and chain 2, and make 2 double crochets into the circle here. It's a little bit fiddly to start with. Okay, so that chain 2 acts as a stitch, so you've got 3 double crochets. Now chain 2, and then put 3 more double crochets into that same space. And then chain 2, and then another 3 double crochets all into that same space. So here you can see we've got 3 lots of 3 double crochets. We want 4, so chain 2 and put in your 4th lot of 3 double crochets all into that same space. And then chain 2 and slip stitch into the top of that chain 2 that you did at the beginning of this round. Now the nice thing about using this ombre yarn is we're not having to change colour every round. So now to make our granny squares really nice and square, every round we're just going to flip our work round the other way and then chain 2. Just get some more wool. And in this chain 2 space, place 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet. So that's double crochet, and 3 of those all into that chain space. Then chain 2, we're creating a corner here, and then 3 more double crochet stitches all into that chain 2 space. And then we're going to hop straight over to the next chain 2 space. So we've just worked this one, hop straight over to this one. yarn over, and straight away make your 3 double crochet stitches. And again we're making another corner, so chain 2, and 3 more double crochets into that same space. And then we hop straight over to the next chain 2 space, and straight away place 3 double crochets into that chain 2 space, and this is another corner, so we chain 2, and put in 3 more double crochet stitches. And you can see we've got 1 more corner to do to complete this round. So yarn over, place 3 double crochets into the next chain 2 space, then chain 2, and 3 more double crochets into the same space. So you can see we've gone all the way round, and all we need to do is slip stitch into the top of that first chain 3 that we did at the beginning of the round. Okay, so now for the next round, we're going to turn the whole thing around to the other side, and straight away chain 2. And straight into this space just here, this counts as your first double crochet. Make 2 more double crochets into this space here. And then we're going straight into a corner now, so we're going to make another corner, which is 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets all into that same space. That's 3, so chain 2 and then 3 more into the same space. And then we hop over to the chain, the space in between the corners, just put in 3 double crochets. And then we have another corner. So it's 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets. Then chain 2. And 3 more double crochets into the same space to make the corner. Okay, so then you would hop over to the space in any spaces that's not a corner. You hop straight over there, put 3 double crochets in there, then you make another corner in here, and in here you place 3 double crochets and then make another corner here, and you continue to here, and I'll meet you as we're approaching the end of this round. So as you can see, we're approaching the end of the round, and we've just put in our last corner, and to finish the round we slip stitch into the top of that chain 2 that we did at the beginning of the round. Just find the top of the stitches, hook through, pull through for a slip stitch. Okay, and on to round 5, which is our last round with the ombre yarn. Don't forget to turn your whole square all the way around, and then straight away chain 2. By turning your square every round, it keeps the whole square very, very square rather than it sloping slightly to one side. Okay, so when you've chained 2, you'll see there's a space here. Place 2 more double crochet stitches in that space. And then we hop over straight away to the corner and make our corner, which is 3 double crochet stitches, chain 2 and 3 more double crochet stitches, all in that same space. So that's 3, chain 2, and then 3 more into the same space. Okay, and on this round you'll see we have 2 lots of spaces between the corners, and in each one we're going to place 3 double crochet stitches. Okay, straight over to this next space here, 3 double crochet stitches. And you can see, not sure if you can see in this light, the colours are starting to change here into the lilac. Not sure if the light is picking that up well, but yeah, this here is now starting to gradually change to lilac, which is really the lovely part of using an ombre yarn. Okay, so this round, you can continue with this round now. So we hop over, make a corner here, 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet in that corner, and again along the side you've got 2 spaces, the same as this side, and in each one place 3 double crochet stitches, then do another corner here, then this side you've got 2 spaces in, put 3 double crochets in each, another corner there, and then here you've got, just before we finish with a slip stitch here, you've got 1 more space where you'll place 3 double crochet stitches. So you continue on with this round, and I'll meet you as we're coming around this last side here. Okay, we're just coming around to the last side. I've put my first 3 double crochets into this corner, so I need to chain 2 and 3 more double crochets for the corner. And you can see here on this side there's another space for another 3 double crochet stitches. So then we're ready to slip stitch into the top of your chain 2 to finish the round. Now you can make your granny squares as big or as small as you like, but I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds in the ombre yarn. So I'm going to finish off here, and before I do that, I'm just going to slip stitch into the next stitch just to secure that a little bit more, then yarn over and pull through some wool. And snip that off. Then pull that through and snug it down. So now we're going to bring in our white. You can spend some time at any point sewing in your ends. So to attach the white, quite simply find any middle space anywhere around your square. And then with your white, make a slip knot. Place your hook straight into that space and then through your slip knot, and then tighten that up and then bring that through and up. Now we're just going to chain 3. So this chain 3 acts as your first double crochet, and in that same space place 2 more double crochet stitches. So we're working exactly the same way as we did with the ombre yarn, but we're using a different colour. So there's 3 in that space there, and there's another space here. Wherever there's a space that's not a corner, put 3 double crochet stitches in. And then you see we come to the corner, and the corner is exactly the same. 3 double crochet stitches. Chain 2. And then 3 more double crochet stitches into the same space to create the corner. And then on this row we've got 3 spaces, all which you put 3 double crochets into those spaces. Okay, so continue with this round, putting in the 3 double crochet stitches into the spaces that's not a corner, and then make your corner, and then down this side in these spaces that's not a corner, put 3 double crochets in each, make your corner. Continue all the way around, and I will meet you as we're approaching the end of this round. Okay, so we're approaching the end of this round. So I've got one more space here to pop in 3 double crochet stitches. And as always, finish the round by finding the top of that chain 3 and make a slip stitch. And the same as we did with the ombre yarn, we now turn the whole square round the other way. Just move any tail ends out of the way there. Then chain 2. Which acts as your first double crochet. So make 2 more into that very first space that's just there. And then there's another space here that's not a corner, so put 3 double crochets in there. Okay, so I think you've got a handle on how we do each round. So I will leave you there to finish this round. So the next one is the corner, which is 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, and then in each of these spaces that's not a corner, so here there's 1, 2, 3, 4, place 3 double crochets and make your corner, and continue all the way around, and then slip stitch to finish as you have been doing, and then turn, don't forget to turn the whole square around to do the next round. Now again, you can make your border of your granny square as big as or as small as you would like, but on this pattern I've done 3 rounds in the white. So after you finish this round, do 1 more round, and I will meet you at the end of round 3 of the border. So we're just coming up to the end of the 3rd round in the white colour. So to finish off, find the top of your chain 2, and slip stitch to finish. Okay, and before I finish off completely, I just slip stitch into the next stitch, then yarn over, pull through some wool, then snip that off, pull it through, snug that down nice and tight, and obviously spend a little bit of time sewing in your ends. But there basically is how you make the granny square. You can see the colour variations, and each one will be different, have a different variation of colour. So we're going to take two of our squares and fold them together, and then take your yarn, and I'll bring the camera in slightly. We're going to find the very corner stitch and put our hook through on one square, and then find the very corner stitch on the other square, and put it through there, and just hold it just to check that's where you want, and it's nice and level. Then we will make a slip knot in our yarn, hook it over your hook, and then pull through and tighten up your slip knot, and then chain one. Okay, and we're ready. So in the next stitch, which is this one, put your hook through both legs of the stitch, find your corresponding stitch on the other square, and put your hook through both legs of that stitch, grab your yarn and pull it through all of those, and then you've got two loops on your hook, yarn over, and then pull through both of those loops. So we're using a single crochet for lots of texture in the blanket. So then we find the next stitch, put it through there, and the next stitch through there, through both legs, grab your yarn, pull through all of those, yarn over, and pull through. And we're getting a beautiful textured to our borders of each granny square. The idea is using the same colour, same yarn as the middle of the granny square. The whole idea is that the borders, they stand out with the colour and the texture, and that's the design of this blanket. So hook in the next stitch and the corresponding next stitch. Grab your yarn, pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, and then pull through. So make your way all the way across to the other corner. Using this single crochet stitch method. Just like this, nice and simple. There we go. So make your way all the way to the other corner. I'll just quickly show you how a lovely effect that it gives there. Okay, make your way all the way to the other corner and I will meet you there. Okay, so we're approaching the opposite corner. And just finish off those last couple of stitches. And then the corner ones. And then put your last one in the corner stitch. I think if you're not sure, just lay it out flat. Yeah, we'll go one more stitch. There we go. Then bring in your next two. So what we're doing is we're working along the whole one side first, rather than trying to do each square. So for example, what I mean is if your blanket is 4 squares across by 5 squares down, we're working across to start with. So, and this is 1, 2, and we'll carry on 3 and 4. And we'll go all the way along, just like this. To add the next two, fold these, find your corner stitch, keep the yarn behind your work, find your corner stitch, put your hook in, and the corner stitch on the other square, put your hook through there, then grab your yarn, put it through, and make a single crochet stitch. It might feel a little bit loose to start with, but once we start going up and down, it will really bring it together. So carry on along your next square into each stitch with your single crochet stitches. Okay. So we're going along all the way, and then when you get to the end of this one, get your next two and carry on all the way along. It depends on what size blanket you're doing. I'm using an example of 4, so you would do that until you have your 4 squares across. Okay, so when you've done that, I'll show you then how we can tighten it all up when we go. So start sewing along this way. Okay, so once you've sewn all the way along the row, joining 2 rows together, which in my case here is 6. I'm doing 6 squares across. I'm then going to go up each vertical ways and join each one that way all the way along. And then what I've done is I've actually joined each another 2 lots, 2 rows. There we go. And I've done another 2 rows all the way along, all 6. So then I would join from, sorry, I'm trying to get all this on the camera because it's quite a big blanket. I would join these together all the way along, and then finish each one vertically this way. That's how I'm joining these squares together. Obviously, if you've got an easier way that you prefer to do this, then please go ahead and do it that way. But I'm just showing you how I'm joining these together, because there's a lot of squares to join together. Okay, so once you've joined all your squares together, we could just meet up again, and I'll show you quickly how to add a border. Okay, so here I've got all my squares sewn together really nicely, and I've made a start on sewing in the ends, which I will continue to do. I just wanted to quickly show you how you can put on a very simple border. So you take your yarn that you use to do the inside of the granny square, and I'll start near a corner so I can show you how to do the corners. So join your yarn whichever way you like. I like to make a slip knot in the wool find where I want to join, and I find the stitch, put my hook into that stitch, put the slip knot over the hook, tighten it up and pull through and chain 1. And quite simply, I'm doing a border with half double crochets into every stitch. So yarn over, find your next stitch, hook in, grab your yarn, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and then again for the next stitch, simply half double crochets into every stitch. And then when you come to a corner, place 2 half double crochets in that chain 2 space into the corner, then chain 1 and another 2 half double crochets into that corner chain 2 space. And turn your work around and then carry on, find your next stitch and just simply carry on into the next stitch with a half double crochet and keep going with a half double crochet into every stitch all the way along until the next corner, where you place 2 on every corner, place 2 half double crochet, chain 1, 2 half double crochets, and it just creates a little corner. And doing the chain 1, what that allows for is if you want to do more than 1 round of the border, if you want to do 2 or 3 in this space, you would be able to do exactly the same. 2 half double crochets, chain 1 and 2 half double crochets. So you can do as many rounds of the border as you like. So there you go, that's how to add a simple border to your granny square blanket.